What if I told you that there was a one-stop shop for teachers who knew it was time to make a difference, but didn't know where to start? That the kind of teacher you dream of being actually exists? Would you believe it if I told you there is a school in our country right now that is proving it can be done? You might be interested to know that the man who made this possible has created a resource that shares his story and successes in hopes that more people like you begin to demand that education start working for our students rather than against them. Dennis Littky is a man on a mission. His book, The Big Picture, is a transformative resource that shares Littky's journey towards creating a school where students would be at the center of their education. Littky has been recognized nationally for the work that he's given to secondary education as a teacher and a principal over the last 40 years, and has even received donations from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation totaling over $20 million in a quest to replicate his school within our country as well as throughout the world. The Met in Rhode Island is this school. The Met is so successful because of its unique and purposeful design. Every student is one of 15 assigned to the same advisory, which is a small learning community. These advisories are made up of the students, a teacher, and an advisor who identifies each of their interests in order to personalize their learning. This has helped Littky bring his student-centered approach to life, which has led to authentic, relevant learning, keeping his students engaged, challenged, and eager to learn more. Every student at the Met applies for an internship opportunity, working closely with their mentor to learn in a real-life setting. This is a chance for them to pursue their interests alongside professionals who are part of the community. Community is a large part of education at the Met. Family, parents, and members of the community are valuable resources and help shape each student's individualized learning plan. The support of the community is integral to the active investment every student gives toward learning. If all of this wasn't reason enough for you to go get a copy of this book right now, maybe consider what motivates you to get up every morning with a passion to teach future generations. As an educator, do you see an importance in building relationships with your students that set the foundation for everything that pertains to teaching and learning? Do you view learning as a personal journey that is designed around their interests, accommodates their abilities, and considers their learning style and intelligence? Have you considered education as a democracy? To not only teach students to be good citizens, but also give them chances to participate, making decisions, and take responsibility within the classroom too. When you picture the perfect learning environment, do you see inclusivity for all students where they feel safe to take risks and share big ideas? Do you know how to achieve this? How familiar are you with project-based learning? Is there value in designing curriculum with opportunities for students to work on real-life problems with hands-on activities that really bring meaning and relevance to their learning? Have you observed this in action? Can you find ways to slowly implement this into your design? Do you want to? Are you ever frustrated with the current educational system's industrialized approach? Have you thought about how people learn best and your role in preparing students for the future? Why are we churning out educated people, much like we churn out clothes and cars? If you answered yes to even one of those questions, the big picture needs to be in your hands 100%, and this is why. Littky wrote this book for teachers like you, who will think about each chapter you read, use the information to confirm ideas you already have, and look at education in new and different ways. His hope is to show you what school could be like and start a movement where education is everyone's business, where people see school as more than a building where teachers teach and students learn. The big picture is more than a collection of stories and ideas. It's a crusade that values students as individuals, families and communities as resources, and educators as change agents who have the potential to spark reform. These three people are widely known in the world of education, and they all have something in common. They encourage, challenge, and motivate us to think about the needs of our students as 21st century learners. From them, we've learned that self-evolved institutions, social-emotional learning, project-based learning, and Common Core make up the framework of an education that works for our students and prepares them with the skills to tackle this 21st century workforce and world. The big picture reflects the ideas, the efforts of reformers just like Lichtman, Darling-Hammond, and Dintersmith. Littky's philosophy is to treat everyone alike differently. He argues that teaching one kid at a time and thinking about what they need and want out of their education is the only way they're going to get what they deserve. Like Lichtman, Littky values the idea of personalized, flexible schools, where the teacher's primary concern is educating students and the students themselves, instead of just getting through subject matter. Similar to Darling-Hammond, Littky encourages a curriculum that promotes social-emotional components that include democracy, kindness, celebrations, respect, resiliency, authenticity, and anything else that helps us take advantage of everything we know about how people learn best. It is our duty to help our students become emotionally and intellectually capable people. Littky's mission revolves around Dintersmith's project-based approach. The big picture tells countless stories of students who dive into internships and follow mentors through career areas that interest them. They are participating and learning through authentic experiences that are real, important, and relate directly to their passions. Dr. K. Green opened our eyes to the natural progression between novice and expert thinking as we make our journey towards demonstrating mastery in meaningful ways. The beauty of this concept is the connection it has with the 6 facets of understanding, and how it all works together to create a student that is able to make meaning from their learning experiences. The big picture seamlessly builds this journey right into the foundation of which everything rests on, so clearly that the title is even a sneak preview. This progression is the big picture. It's education. Littky demands that we think about how people learn best. Most, if not all, of the students that apply to this school show up as novice thinkers. They're vulnerable, and they don't really want to learn. They just want to get through their tasks. Littky leans upon the facets of understanding almost like a guiding tool that shines light on the path to mastery. These new novice students work with advisors, teachers, peers, communities, mentors, and families to craft opinions and questions, narratives and insights, empathy and wisdom through real-world experiences. They become intuitive, and the work that they do feels right. Littky shows them that there's more to learning than simply taking in what's already been covered. That the magic happens when expert thinkers actively work to uncover what hadn't been seen. In the slight chance you may still need some convincing, I've saved the dreaded S word for last: standardized testing. We've been challenged in this course with the task of thinking more like an assessor than a teacher, and many of us in our discussion boards comment on how unnatural this feels. Our students have so much more depth to their experiences than what can be measured by a letter grade. What can we hope to achieve after we've asked our students to produce copious amounts of work and then they're given only one letter to sum up how they've progressed and what they need to do now to improve? How does it make you feel to know that something so worthless can sometimes be the only thing that makes a student feel worthy? Our text has taught us that a true understanding of the whole child comes from a continuum of assessments over time. This is because students deepen their understanding through ongoing inquiry, investigation, exploration, reflection, and rethinking, none of which happens in just one day. So authentic assessment needs to mimic this by also collecting bits of evidence over time. Just think about it. Would you know more about a child from looking at one picture or by flipping through a scrapbook of memories that have been taken place over weeks, months, or even the whole year? When you think about it in this way, the answer is very clear. Snapshots don't tell you anything really worth knowing compared to the depth of experiences over time and in different contexts. Littky's opinion of standardized testing and grades is no secret in his book. His solution is to use narratives instead of grades and to replace tests with exhibitions. At the Met, narratives are used to help students understand what they need to do to meet their own learning goals and needs. Students at the Met also participate in exhibitions to talk about the process they use to get where they are, to present papers, and think about what needs to come next. Littky urges that more schools adopt dress assessing using exhibitions for benefits that include opportunity for parent involvement, teamwork between teachers, integration of community, promoting growth, the elimination of cheating, encouragement for students to go deeper with their learning, and that they require students to set high standards for themselves. I know you are the exact right person for this book. I know you might be wondering how much one person can really get done. You have big dreams, but there's policies and systems that get in your way. Littky promises that no matter who you are or what role you play, you can affect change. He reminds us that these are not wild ideas. They are the right ideas. What exactly is your job here? What are your responsibilities? As educators, we are continuously challenged to rise above all sorts of seemingly impossible tasks, and we have an obligation to see them through. Sometimes all you have to do is take a step back and look at the bigger picture.